Good evening, one and all present here. This is a guidance session organized by students of State GS Medical College Academic Department. This session will be majorly for the third minor MBBS students. In this session, uh, the final year students will be guiding their juniors on how to study the third minor subjects, which are ENT, Opthal, PSM, and also there will be a short session towards the end on regarding postings. The session on ENT will be taken by Manav sir. Ophthalmology will be taken by Amir sir. PSM will be taken by Saumitra sir, and posting will be taken by Srividya sir. So, without wasting any further time, let's begin with ENT by Manav sir.
Hello, hi guys. So I am Manav Shah, final year student of your own college, and I'll be trying to explain कि कैसे ENT पढ़ना है, right? So ENT is a very short subject, short and a sweet subject. As usual, पहले start with lectures like marrow or dams, whatever you have joined. Start with the marrow का lectures and make sure that all the important points you know that क्या क्या पढ़ना है. What are the important topics like Meniere's disease, autosclerosis? All these are favorite topics as far as the topic is concerned. And so you will have some idea कि क्या क्या important है and क्या क्या avoid करना है, right? So that is the first thing. You make your notes or you refer to notes directly, and then you start with the main textbook. It is a very simple thing. You just have to read the basic textbook of Dhingra. Hi. So yeah. So you start with the video lectures first. उसको फटाफट खत्म कर दो. It won't take a lot of time. Like ENT, if I say the lectures will take around 10 to 15 days, and that should be fine, right? So you can refer to Marrow as well as DAMS. I refer to Marrow. I had not taken the DAMS thing. So you refer Marrow or DAMS, both are equally good. I will say prefer Marrow because Marrow wala ma'am is also the author of the triple E book, which will also be used for revision, right? So that is one thing. And after you're done with your notes, then you go to the main textbook, which is Dhingra, which will be used everywhere, right from the MCQ ka basic preparation, and most of the questions in NEET as well as your next will be coming from your Dhingra only. So Dhingra is the main core textbook, and it is preferred कि you read Dhingra from like ENT properly revised हो जाना चाहिए. Okay. Next. So MUHS में 10 days of preparation should be fine if you have read it throughout the year. 10 days of ENT में कैसे 2 to 3 days of nose, 2 to 3 days of throat, 4-5 days of ear, and 1 to 2 days for the procedures. वो सब अच्छे से कर लो, and last में मतलब easy हो जाएगा. Don't leave anything at the end, right? ऐसे esophagus bronchoscopy कोई भी topic मत छोड़ो. Anything can come as an LEQ, and LEQ in ENT is compulsory. SEQs में you will be given a choice of 4 out of 5, but LEQ is compulsory, so you have to make sure that you read at least basic of everything. And as far as the next revision is concerned, next May, whatever you have read, like final year or third year, or whatever you have read, you're just supposed to revise it. Don't go for anything new, anything very much out of the box. कि कोई important बड़ी book मत लो, कोई भी नई book जो भी है revise करो. Even if there are like 30, 40, 60 questions in NEET, Dhingra and will make sure that you're getting 45, 50 of them easily. 5-10 questions can be from here and there, but better refer to all of these, and you will make sure that most of the questions are covered from Dhingra as well as Triple E. Okay, and as far as questions are concerned, you can also refer to previous year's questions which are given in Triple E, and you can also solve them from like AIMS के books जो आते हैं, last 5 years papers, last 10 years papers of ENT. You can refer to them, and then that will be sufficient for your NEET and extra preparation. You'll be able to cover almost each and every question as far as ENT is concerned. Okay, next. So let's go to the practical exam. This was a theory. Theory is very straightforward. 3 SEQs and 2 LAQs, and 10 marks ke MCQs. That's going to be very straightforward. And there is no topic-wise distribution like ENT में से 2 questions of SEQ, 1 LAQ. ऐसा नहीं होता. It could be in any way. Like we had only 1 question of year, which is supposed to be the biggest part. So it could be anything can come as an SEQ or anything can come as an LAQ, right? Then next, let's come to the practical exam. Practical exam there will be one long case. So long case is there are only three long cases in entire ENT. One of them is DNS, which is deviated nasal septum. One of them is CSOM, which is chronic suppurative otitis media, and the other one is tonsillitis. So long case में what happens? You have to take a case. अगर card आया तो card में तो it is very simple. Then you can refer to the PDF and also solve. But even if the patient comes, it is very straightforward कि तीन case prepare करके जाने हैं and you straight away just ask the simple questions. And as far as the exam is concerned, they will just ask you the diagnosis most likely and the positive findings. So you should know that very well. You should not make a simple mistake left sided DNS को right sided बोल दिया. That should not happen. Okay, that is very straightforward. Okay, long case में basic positive findings and diagnosis should be very well read. And then they will ask you the related questions. Mostly the question will be like इसका management कैसे करोगे for the same patient. So DNS आएगा तो how will you manage the patient of DNS? You will say पहले तो conservative management, indications, and then they will say septoplasty and SMR, right? So that is how the question will be asked. And थोड़ा theory they'll be asking, जो theory exam में हो गया रहेगा. That won't be a problem. But you have to focus on your diagnosis, your positive findings, as well as the management of the patient, and that's it. Viva will be that straightforward. Short case तो उससे भी short रहेगा. Short case में you should know the diagram, you should know the basic diagram, along with that the diagnosis and the positive findings. That is it. You don't have to write even the negative history. तो खाली positive findings and diagnosis लिख के diagram बना के you're supposed to leave, and then the examiner will take it to the theory part. So again, your theory part has to be strong. Like if tonsillitis का case है, they'll ask, so what are the indications of tonsillectomy? What are the methods of tonsillectomy? What is chronic tonsillitis का definition? All these are favorite questions. यही आने वाला है, that is confirmed, right? So that is 30 marks, and rest of the 10 marks is divided into four parts, which is instruments, audiogram, X-ray, and specimen. You don't have to do anything for this. It is like there are 3-4 PDFs. You just refer to all of these. There are 3-4 PDFs. We just give it to you all. The seniors will pass it to you all, and you just have to refer to this, and that will be sufficient. और कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. There will be lectures they will be taking. The department will be taking a few lectures on them. So just listen to them, and उतना जो भी questions whatever they are telling you कि ये questions on that particular instrument, on that particular audiogram can be asked. So like if there is a audiogram of otosclerosis, they can ask you what is otosclerosis, how will you manage it. So that is it. Basic करना है. Don't go for any hi-fi books. You don't have to read any book other than Dhingra Triple E for revision and your PDFs. That will be sufficient for a practical exam. There are many books in the market. You keep on reading all of them, then last में basic question भी mistake हो जाती है. You have to make sure about that. Instruments, खाली make sure that you ask a resident or any teacher, please take a instrument का session for us before the exam, so that you know कि instrument identify कैसे करना है. Like if you identify the instrument correct, then only your viva will proceed to the next step. And one more thing, as far as the instrument is concerned, they'll also ask you how do you hold it or how do you use it, how do you apply it. So वो भी एक बार idea पूछ लेना whenever you are having a clinic or whenever you are having a postings. You just ask them कि how do you hold the instrument, how do you use it. Like अगर कुछ tonsillectomy का आया, so they can ask you how do you hold this, what is the mechanism, what are the joint का type. So all that they can ask. So instrument is थोड़ा tricky. You have to learn it by going over there. Just have a look at it and then you remember for lifetime. So you just ask the resident or the teacher, okay, just teach us once and tell us what all questions can be asked. And your practical exam will be done. That is 40 marks. Your internal will be 20 marks and 40 marks for the theory exam, right? That's it. So refer to the PDFs which your seniors will provide, and no need to refer to any books for practical exams. Next. Yeah, so again postings में if you're going to the postings अगर time है and if they are teaching, then definitely take these three cases of DNS, tonsillitis and CSOM, and क्योंकि ये तीनों में से आने वाले हैं, and most importantly it's a group exam anyway. Even if it is live, it is going to be a group exam of 3 to 4 people. They'll be given one case, so make sure that at least 4-5 people in the batch are taking the cases, and you know कि कैसे case लेना है, what all things to be expected, and basic examination you have to learn. Like they can expect you to ask anti-rhinoscopy कैसे करोगे, what are the steps, what is the position of the patient, what is Rowe's position, all this that can be asked if the exam is held live. Like अगर card based नहीं है, that is the worst case. अगर है then it is good. So just refer whenever you're going to the postings, make sure that you take these three cases at least. and you see how the instruments are used. OPD में जाके एक दो बार जाके you just go through it, syringing कैसे करते हैं, what is the direction and indications and all that, and that should be sufficient from the posting point of view, and your ENT is done. Now the ENT now like is going to be like 60 questions, which is a very big thing. Previously it used to be like 15 questions out of 300 questions, which was like 5% only. Now it is going to be 60 questions, which is going to be a big weightage. So now you make sure that your theory expert is good, right from the anatomy to the basic conditions, and right from to the malignancies as well. So basic staging bhi aana chahiye, management also you should be knowing, and instruments, X-rays, all these are like things which we tend to ignore. That should not happen. These are like golden marks. Caldwell view kaise identify karna hai, then your Stenver views and all those views. X-rays are asked commonly in your NEET as well as your Viva and all. They'll keep on asking the same questions. Okay, how do you identify this sinus? Where is the sinus? So all these questions you're supposed to see it once. You can see it from the PDFs. You can see it live as well, and that'll be enough for ENT. ENT you don't have to worry much because you already have PSM. That is going to take a lot of time. So make sure that you're strong at ENT and try to cover ENT as much as possible in the third year only. Because बाद में final year you have a lot of subjects to cover, and if you have next, then you might not get a lot of time for ENT. So make sure that you are very thorough with ENT right from the third year itself, right? So try to cover Dhingra as well as Triple E. That is what I'll suggest. That Triple E as well as Dhingra should be covered as far as the third year is concerned before your final exam is done. So then you have to just revise and go through the MCQs of past year, and that will be sufficient for ENT. Next. Any questions? Please feel free to ask. We can start with the next one.
Thank you, Manav sir. Your guidance was really very helpful. In order to summarize, Manav sir very well explained about how to study the theory for exam preparation of NEET and next. Also, how to read the standard textbook Dhingra. He also gave good advice for revision. His strategy for time allotment during preparation, especially for NEET, was also very useful. The tips given for practical examinations was very well explained, and towards the end, the advice given for posting and other and all the other advices were very useful. Thank you, sir. Now, now we have Ameya sir, who will be guiding us all on ophthalmology. Ameya, you can begin.
Yeah. So, good evening, everyone. I would be guiding you about how to study ophthalmology in third year. So, next slide, please. So, basically, whenever you try to study any subject during MBBS, we study it from 3 points of views. One is to gain the basic knowledge, understanding, to build our concepts. Then, secondly, to prepare ourselves for the entrance exam, that is NEET or next, and also to pass the university exams. So I would like to tell how to go about studying ophthalmology from these 3 points of view. So the next slide, please. So to make the basic concepts, it is always better to start with either DAMS or Marrow lectures, and you can either take down notes or you can have printed notes with you. See, generally in first as well as second year, we start studying a subject by buying the textbook. We buy a textbook and we then start reading the textbook from the page one. But the thing with ophthalmology is you would find there are many new signs, many new terms, many new procedures, instruments, and new concepts that we need to know. So if we start reading textbook from day one, then it would take a lot of time to grasp the knowledge and for the new information to sink in. So it is always better to have a teacher with us who is guiding us, who is telling us what is important from the entire topic to know. So what I would recommend is to start studying with either DAMS or Marrow lectures. Both are equally good. What I would recommend is you can go with Marrow lectures, and for DAMS, at least if any of your friend has DAMS, then go through the topic of refraction and squint, which the sir teaches, which he teaches very good, and it helps in solving the questions. Otherwise, all the topics are covered quite well in Marrow lectures as well. So basically, go through the lecture and read the notes to build your concepts, and keep revising the notes again and again. And then when you have done with one round of lecture and notes, then you can start reading a book rather than starting the book from the day one, because both the textbook Parson or Kurana have a lot of information in them, and the information is quite vague. Like, say a topic of conjunctivitis is around 30 pages in Kurana, and then at the end of the chapter we feel that all the conjunctivitis have the same features. While if we read the notes, or if we go through an MCQ book, then it helps us to point out the specific signs and symptoms of a particular type of conjunctivitis, which helps us to remember it well for the theory as well as for the MCQ aspect. So for the concept building, I would say start with Marrow or DAMS lectures with notes. So the next slide, please. Yeah, to prepare for next and NEET as well, the notes are quite good. They cover a lot of the basic concepts, and I would say revising the notes is the key in ophthalmology, because you would come across a lot of new terms in ophthalmology, which, and we are not much exposed to ophthalmology till third year, because like for a subject like medicine, at least we have read some amount of things in patho, in physiology, in pharmacology about diseases. So we are not completely new to the diseases and terms. But the thing with ophthalmology is you have not read a lot about it before before third minor. So revising the notes is the key for NEET or next. And after you have done with one or two rounds of reading your notes and going through the lecture, you can go about reading a book known as Soch. So it is basically a review book on ophthalmology written by Utsav Bansal, and it is a quite detailed book. You will find a lot of new points other than your notes in it. It has a lot of images, because in ophthalmology you would find that there are many signs. There are different signs in all the diseases, and you need to remember them. Especially for MCQs, you can have an image-based question where the image of that particular sign is given, and you have to identify it. So that is where the book is helpful. It gives the information in a point-wise manner, and the important points are highlighted. Like I said, for the topic of conjunctivitis, where rather than reading a textbook of 30 pages, how Soch helps is it would give the general features of conjunctivitis in the beginning, and then it would highlight only the specific points in the different types of subtypes of conjunctivitis, which we need to remember for identifying that particular type. So for NEET or next, I would say first DAMS Marrow lectures and notes, followed by a review book, that is Soch. That would suffice, because it covers a fair amount of information. And for solving MCQs, both the question banks are good, DAMS as well as Marrow. Marrow is better, I would say, because the explanation part given in Marrow is more organized, and it is more informative. In DAMS, at times in few questions they have not given the explanation, or at times they have just copy pasted 3 to 4 pages of a textbook in while explaining a question. So I would say you could prefer Marrow for question bank. And even the MCQs given in Soch are quite good. They have even given image-based questions. So that would suffice for NEET as well as next. Again, as I would say, revising the notes is the key, because then when you get the hang of the subject, then it becomes really easy. Next slide. Yeah, and then to prepare for the university exams. So the pattern for theory exams in ophthalmology is you have to write 2 LQs and you don't have options. So you have to compulsorily attempt both the LQs. Each is going to be for 9 marks. So that is a big LQ. So you have to write a significant amount of matter in that LQs to get good marks. And you have to attempt 3 out of 5 SQs, 4 marks each, and you have 20 MCQs, half a mark each, so for 10 marks. So you have the theory exam for 40 marks. And in practical exam in ophthalmology, you have only one long case. You don't have a short case, and almost 90% of the students will get a case of cataract. Even if you have patients for your exam or case cards, most of you would get a cataract case only, and few of you could get a case of pterygium. If you have patients, then you might not even have pterygium, even a single case of pterygium. But cataract is the only common case that is there for everyone. So you have a one long case to present, you have drugs, and you have instruments. So only 3 things that you need to do for practical exam in ophthalmology. So the next slide. Yeah, so for the theory paper, In ophthalmology, they tend to ask only certain typical questions every year. So if you go through the previous year questions from Unique or Balmain, then you will realize that the same long answer questions or short answer questions keep on repeating year and again. So preparing for theory for ophthalmology is comparatively easier because you have fixed number of questions. So in every chapter, like say chapter on lens or conjunctiva cornea, you are going to have 1 or 2 LAQs and 3 to 4 SAQs to prepare. So for those questions, refer to Unique. You would get a list of all the previous year questions and read those questions from Kurana. So Kurana as a textbook is, I would only recommend you to read it for writing answers, because Kurana has given every topic under the subheadings which you require for writing an answer, like the etiology, risk factors, then the pathogenesis, the clinical features, investigations, treatment. So if you have the basic knowledge, you have read the notes, you have read Soch, so reading Kurana would help you to organize all your knowledge while you write an answer, especially for the LAQs, because you have to write a long LAQ because it is going to be for 9 marks. So reading Quran and organizing your answer according to it would help. So for all the important questions from previous years, refer to Qurana. For certain SAQs, if you find that Qurana is quite detailed or it is complicated, you can even refer to Soch. Yeah, and for the theory MCQs, notes are enough, and you can go through previous year MCQs. Many times out of the 20 MCQs, 5 to 6 or even more than that get repeated from previous years. So do go through previous year MCQs from Unique. Yeah, that would suffice for the theory paper. Yeah, and the tip for writing answers, as I said, the LAQ is going to be for 9 marks. So so 2 LAQs carry 18 out of your 30 marks. So prefer start your paper with the LAQs, complete the LAQs. You can take even 25 to 30 minutes to write an LAQ. You have got a lot of time because you only have to write 3 SAQs and 2 LAQs in 2 hours. So start with an LAQ and try to elaborate it as much as possible. Try to write it under the following headings as I've given: the introduction, the etiology, pathogenesis, classification, and then the clinical features, investigation, treatment, and the prognosis. So that would tell the examiner that you have a clear picture about the disease in your mind, and it would help to it would also help you to have a big answer. Yeah, in ophthalmology, as I said, that there are many signs, and every disease has some peculiar signs on examination. So try to draw as many as diagrams as possible to show the particular signs or symptoms, which would help you to gain more marks. Yeah, and one more thing I would like to tell, in case of the previous year questions, sometimes a question has been asked in a previous year as an SAQ for 3-4 times. So and let's say suppose it is given in Qurana for it is a big topic in Qurana. Let's say a topic like diabetic retinopathy is given for 5 to 6 pages in Qurana, and till now it was only asked as an SAQ for 3 to 4 years. So what most of us tried to did was to read it in short from Soch. But this time they asked it only the treatment of diabetic retinopathy for 9 marks as an LAQ. So what I would say is whether a topic has been asked as an SAQ or LAQ in previous year questions, do that topic in detail from Qurana, so that for any aspect of the topic they ask you as a long answer question, you would be able to answer it. Because in ophthalmology, the previous year topics are very limited. You would find only 5 to 6 topics in every chapter that on which a question has been asked. So don't consider whether it has been asked as an LAQ or SAQ. Do all the previous year questions in detail. So even if they ask you it as an LAQ, you would be able to write a good answer. Yeah, so that was it for the theory exam. So next slide, please. So for the practical exam, you have a long case, you have instruments, and you have drugs. So for the long case, the case pro forma, especially for the examination of the eye, right, starting from the eyelid, then the cornea, conjunctiva, and then as you go behind till the lens, the pro forma of examination is important. So for that, don't miss your third minor postings. You would have ophthalmology postings in second year as well as third year. Maybe if you have time or if you are engaged in some other activity, you might not be able to attend it in second year, but do not miss the third minor posting, which is for 1 month. That posting, make sure that you take at least one case of cataract and present it to the resident. and ask the residents to teach you the examination of I, as I said, in the systematic way. And in your 30 days of posting, at least have one lecture of on instruments, where ask the residents to teach you the instrument, how to hold the instrument, what is the use of the instrument, in what surgery it is used, and also have one lecture on drugs. For instruments, one thing you can do is, when you have a class on instruments during your postings, take a photo of each instrument and have it with you. You can make a PDF also, so it becomes easier to revise during exams. Even we have the PDF of the photos of all the instruments. We'll share it with you, but it helps, even in your other postings of final years like OBGY or surgery, where you have instruments. It is always better to take photos and have a PDF ready for revising before the exams. So again, for the postings, take at least one case of cataract. For the case pro forma, as in for the history and the examination part, you can refer to Sushruth folder, where sir has given a case pro forma of an ideal case of cataract. There are other few more PDFs. We'll share it with you. And as I said, there are only two cases for exams, either cataract or pterygium. In 90% cases, only cataract would be given. So read those two cases thoroughly from Purana. Even for theory, cataract is a very important topic. Even for your cases, the practical exam, cataract is an important topic. So read the entire chapter from Purana, from the first page to the last page, as well as the topic of pterygium, because you're only going to get those two cases, and in most of the cases, your viva will be limited only to these two topics. You can. There is a book on practical ophthalmology called Basak. The examination of eye is given quite well in that book. So I would say you can either have the PDF of the book, or you can take it from the seniors rather than buying it, and just go through the examination part through it once. And you can also just go through briefly about the exam cases, that is cataract and pterygium. They have given it quite well. For instruments, as I said, the lecture that you have in postings, as well as the photos that you would take. And for the theory regarding instruments, you can refer to Basak, or you can refer to Purana. Both are good. Basak is a bit in detail. They have given the advantages and disadvantages of each instrument. So if you feel that you even want to do that for your exams, so you can refer to Basaks. Otherwise, Purana is also good. And yeah, as I said, we will share the PDF of the instruments with you. And for drugs, actually most of it you can answer from pharmacology as well, the basic uses and the mechanism of action. What you need to know is the concentrations of certain important drugs, what are the different modes of administering that drug, as an eye drop, as an ointment, as an intravitreal injection, or a subtenant injection. So all that is given quite well in Purana. Also, there is a PDF which is made by one of our seniors regarding drugs. So we will share it with you. So that would suffice for practical exams. So cataract case, practice it, read the pro forma from Sushruth folder, use Basak for instruments and examination of eye, and for instruments and drug, Purana is good. Next slide. So which books to refer for ophthalmology? As I said, DAMS or Marrow notes, both are good enough. Soch. So I think concentrate on the first two which I have mentioned, your DAMS or Marrow notes as well as Soch. That would cover a fair amount of information. You would be able to solve a lot of MCQs. You will be able to solve image-based questions. Other than that, Purana, use it mainly for the important previous or important questions for preparing for the theory exam and practical exam. If you want, if you have time, if you have interest, then you can read Purana. But as I said, that the topics are given the topics are very long, and the language of the book is also very dry. So rather than spending a lot of time in reading Purana, I would say you could revise again the notes and keep on revising Soch and solve MCQs rather than reading Purana. And if you find that a particular topic, while solving MCQ, if you find that a particular topic is not given well in notes or Soch, only then for that topic you can refer Purana for that particular topic, rather than reading Purana completely. Refer it only for previous or important questions, as well as for instrument, drugs, and cases for the practical exam. Parson is a good book, but again, as I said, honestly, notes and Soch cover a lot of information, right? If you read Soch, you will realize there is a lot of information that is given in it. So I feel both of them would suffice and cover a major chunk of information. So no need to read Parson. If you have interest, then you can go through it, but practical it is not needed. BUSUK you can refer for practical exam, take it from seniors or have a PDF with you. And for drugs and instrument, the PDF that we would send you. So I think that would be it for books. Next slide. Yeah, so regarding quizzes in ophthalmology, as such, there is no quiz that our department conducts. There are many online quizzes that are conducted by many different colleges, so you can participate in those. DAMS conducts a quiz on ophthalmology. They started it last year. It is conducted around September or October. That is quite a good quiz. They have an MCQ round, and then they have two final rounds, and they have a good prize money as well. So you can participate in the DAMS quiz as well as other different colleges quiz conducted by colleges. And for quiz, as I said, notes and Soch are important, especially the images that are given in Soch. Because many image-based questions are asked even in MCQs as well as in quizzes in ophthalmology. So for quiz purpose, notes and Soch, and I would say that for certain signs, images might not be given in Soch, so or your marrow notes. So for that, Google them, and you can also save the important images that you get, because images are really important in ophthalmology. You get a lot of image-based questions, especially in quizzes. So that is how I feel notes, Soch, and images would suffice for preparing for your quizzes. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, so if you have any questions, you can go ahead.
You may
Okay,
begin.
so sorry for the delay. I'll start. So I'll give you a brief introduction first. So PSM, as for ages, has been and will always be a boring subject, and because there's not much to understand in the subject, and very few people in the class or in any batch will actually understand or actually like reading that subject. So first of all, it's a boring subject. Everyone knows that. Another very important, see, apart from few points, chapters in the beginning like communicable diseases or epidemiology, other chapters are pure ratification, sirf ratna usme. So very, very boring subject. Another important point is it's a subject of integration, which most people don't realize. See, PSM does not compromise only the preventive and aspects of community medicine. It has aspects from pharmacology, it has aspects from microbiology, it even has aspects from medicine. So if you try to read it in an integrated way, it will be very easy for you. Suppose you're reading say a disease from communicable diseases chapter. Suppose you're reading about smallpox or measles. So what you can do is just give a brief reading from microbiology, since you have read it in second year. So it won't be that difficult. You can read from microbiology, you can read about the drugs from pharmac, and then try to read about it in PSM. So it becomes very easy if you read it in an integrated way. So that is a very important point which you must always keep in mind. Another thing is you always tend to forget PSM a lot because it has a lot of factual information. Especially paper 2 or the second half of PSM is full of facts and only facts. So what I suggest is to try to read PSM continuously throughout the year. Like even if you read 1 hour or say 1.5 hours a day for PSM, that is actually very sufficient to excel in your exams. And believe me, 1 hour a day looks like less time to be given, but if you do it daily, or if you say you read it 5 days or 6 days a week, 1 hour, it will be much more sufficient to excel in your exams as well as preparing for your NEET or next whatever happens for your batch. Another thing is PSM. There are some basic concepts in PSM which you must be very thorough with because it helps you in writing answers in exams. It helps you in answering viva to your examiner. For example, in the starting, there is epidemiological triad of PSM, which compromises agent, host, and environment. Then there is levels of prevention like primordial, primary, secondary, tertiary. So try to understand those topics in detail, because once you get those topics now, you can use those topics to write your answers even for those parts which are purely factual. For example, in second part of paper, there is a chapter on disaster management. So when it comes to management of disaster, prevention of disaster, you can again try to think in terms of 4 levels of prevention like primordial, primary, secondary, tertiary. So it helps you to write long answers. It also helps us to impress your examiner because they think that you have actually understood the subject and you're not just reading from the book, or you're not just writing the जो answer रटे हुए हैं. So starting के जो chapters हैं उनकी in-depth understanding, I would say, is very, very important. Okay, one more part is PSM is a subject not to be messed with, and neither the subject nor the department. See, ENT and Ophthal, if you miss the postings or if you have less attendance, you can manage somehow, but PSM won't spare you. So you try to maintain your attendance. Try not to take any grudges with any of the teachers from the PSM department, and also don't take the subject very lightly, because most of the students who fail in any of the subjects, it's in PSM only. Like maximum students pass in ENT and Ophthalm, it's the PSM which gets stuck. Okay, next slide. Okay, so I'll go line by line for theory and then practical. So I'll start with theory. So as my friend Amay told you, for any subject, this is true, that you always try to start reading your coaching notes first, be it DAMS, be it Marrow, be it Prep Ladder, be it any. Try to read from the coaching notes any chapter which you read. If you have to read communicable disease, if you have to read epidemiology, read from the coaching notes first, because it gives you a holistic view first, what the chapter is about, what all things are included. If you directly go on to read any books, be it Park, be it Vivek Jain, be it any book, you find it difficult, especially for other subjects. See, PSM is written in general English, so it's still easier, but I would still say start reading your coaching notes first. Okay, then many of you have also asked this question, what about Park? So I feel Park is a little overvalued book or overrated book. See, it is a reference book. It is a main book for PSM, no doubt. But for us, whatever be our objective of giving exams, writing answers in exams, preparing for next, preparing for PG, or even for understanding also, Park Park need not to be read fully in details. What you can do is the first few chapters, especially epidemiology, communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases. These three chapters can be read from Park in details. PSM. Other chapters like environmental health, maternal health, millennium goals, and everything apart from that can be left easily. There will be no harm. And what you can even do is don't buy Park, borrow from a senior, or maybe take it from a library. Make notes from those three chapters and keep it with you. So I would recommend that do not read Park and do not waste more time on Park. And especially the pattern for you will be next. So it has 6 subjects, and PSM weightage is gonna go down. So, and they are shifting from an factual approach to a much more integrated and clinical approach. So in that way, PSM, all the factual data, all the data which Park is full of, is no longer required now. So I would say not to give much preference to Park. Yes, if you're genuinely interested in PSM, if you genuinely like reading PSM, you have fun in reading PSM, then you can obviously go for Park. It's the best book, no doubt. But for us, for any purpose, for any objective, I would not say to read Park. Okay, then there's a review book as Soch is for ophthalmology. Similarly, Vivek Jain is for PSM. So it has short notes, everything written point wise, and it has a lot of MCQs. Like 300, 400 MCQs are there only in communicable disease ke chapter mein. So for practicing MCQs, for practicing for next, for practicing for even your, not for MUHS, but yes, for Vivek Jain is more useful to write short notes. So if for preparing SAQs, you can refer Vivek Jain very easily. And also for quizzes, yes, Vivek Jain has a lot of images also, so it will it's the book required in quizzes. I'll speak on more than that in the future, in further. So as I mentioned, you have to integrate the topics. So like communicable diseases, all the diseases you can integrate from microbiology as well as from pharmacology. Similarly, there's occupational diseases chapter. You can integrate completely with pathology. So like you read about pneumoconiosis in pathology, asbestosis, coal workers pneumoconiosis. You can write everything about that in PSM. Its clinical features, its symptoms, signs, treatment, complication, everything. Only thing which you have to add additional for PSM point of view is the epidemiology part, which includes agent, host, and environment. For every topic, you have to add that PSM part extra, and maybe something related to risk factors or incidents. But apart from that, you can integrate each and every topic. Whichever you find you have read it somewhere else, you can easily take it from there and write it in your PSM notes, or you can write it in your PSM answers. Okay, so there is one book, another Shetty, by the name of Shetty, and it's purely for exam purposes. And it is the book which has to be read by like everyone in the batch for writing answers. It has given all the IMPs which is required for MUHS and all the answers. Shetty, what it has done is that taken all the lines from Park. So say Park has written around 40 pages on tuberculosis. So what has Shetty done? It has minimized it to 5 to 6 pages answers. That's specific, what the examiner wants to know. So Shetty has all the answers. You don't have to see here and there for anything. You just have to read Shetty for exam. Okay, next slide. So coming to postings and practical. So as I said earlier, you have to maintain a strict attendance of 80%. See, 75 to 80 or 70, you can be spared maybe on request. But if you have less attendance, they are gonna give you repos, and they're very, very strict about it. Like YB sir, like he'll you do whatever you say, whatever reason or anything, but he won't listen. So please try to do attendance. You can even help your batchmates in that. Suppose you're not able to go someday, ask your batchmate from another posting to attend your give your attendance. You do something for him, I don't know what, but try to maintain attendance of 80% very strictly. Then getting your journal signed. Get it signed regularly. Okay, they give your sign afterwards also, they do sign, but they make you run a lot for that. Like you have to go for 4 times 5 times to a same teacher again and again to get single practical signed, and they literally trouble you purposefully. So if you're attending something, including your family visits or including your practicals which they make you write in the class, get it completed and get it signed somehow. Give priority to finishing your PSM journal a lot. Then what they teach in posting lectures, I from a personal point of view, and I think most of us believe that that is not of much use. See, they maximum lectures are taken by residents. So what they do is they have pre-prepared slides, PPTs. They'll come, they'll open that slide, go and literally read from the PPTs. It becomes very boring, very monotonous, and you don't grasp a lot from that. Okay, there are few teachers like, well, I personally like Velhal sir's lecture, YB sir's lecture. They actually teach you about core PSM. They actually teach you what PSM is. So you can pay attention to those lectures. But apart from that, you have to attend because attendance is compulsory, but they are not of much use. So no need to make any notes or regarding that. Yes, YB sir and Velhal sirs and some senior teachers, unke notes bana sakte hain, but other teachers ke no notes are required. Then about practical topics. So there are around 8 to 9 practical topics you have in your schedule. So the day they give you practical, they make you write in the class itself. So there are long practicals. It takes 2 hours, 3 hours. So try to finish it in the class, or if not possible, finish it by the same day and get it signed the next day. Keep it consistent throughout there. You won't have any problems in the end. Otherwise, PSM troubles a lot in the end. And yes, biostats ki class Amit Jadhav sir takes in the end, and don't miss even a single class of that. See, biostats is a difficult subject for most of us because we have come to biology background, because some or the other way, most of people don't like maths or not good at maths. So biostats becomes difficult in that sense. For exam purposes, you have to solve the previous year's paper. I'll come to that again. But yes, attend his class. He has, I think, 4 or 5 classes in the end, and don't miss even a single, because once if you miss a single class, then you cannot link with other classes. So try to attend it completely, try to attend it seriously, make notes in the journal itself. He lets you complete the journal in the class itself, but he teaches a lot of things which are not written in journals. So with a pencil or maybe in a separate notebook, you can make it all the notes in the journal itself. But yes, do attend every class of biostats. Do not miss it unless it's extremely urgent, and because it will help in your exams a lot. Okay, next slide. So this is for very few of the people who are actually interested in going for PSM quizzes. So there is a department quiz. Unfortunately, we were not, due to COVID, we were not able to take part in that, but your batch will be able. So those who are interested, so you have to read the coaching notes for that. It's similar to other subject quizzes for opthal, or similar to that. And review book for PSM is Vivek Jain. So you have to read that, because in quizzes also they ask a lot of facts, like they haven't shifted to a clinical approach pattern. So Vivek Jain gives a lot of facts. You have to read that. There are a lot of images in Vivek Jain, lot of MCQs. You have to solve those. And there are some must-know topics for quiz purposes. You can, like, for those who are interested, you can ask any of the senior who is an active quizzer. So you can take guidance from them. I'll not waste much time on quizzes because very few people are interested in this. Okay, next slide. Chinmay, next slide.
Krishnai.
Yeah. So, the most important part, PSM exam, the most troublesome part. So I'll go a step by step. So theory paper. So I'll get theory paper is divided into PSM paper 1 and paper 2. You will get the topic distribution. Each paper comprises of 60 marks. So 15 marks MCQ in both the papers and 45 marks are SAQ and LAQ. So I'll tell how to write answers. So how do you prepare for the exams? So again, you start reading from coaching notes first, and not Parth, not Shetty, not Vivek Jain. First, read coaching notes for any chapter. and then you read Shakti for that chapter. For writing answer in exam, there is not a third resource required. Only these two are much more than sufficient. If you are like completed that, try to revise again and again. Do it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. But don't think, yeah, I'll read from here also, I'll read from here also so that I can write. Just do Shakti thoroughly and do your coaching notes. Nothing else is required. Not even Park, nothing. No diagram for Park is required. Everything Shakti gives beautiful. And yes, very important thing about PSM is you have to know something about everything. See, PSM paper, IMPs, okay, 80% paper comes from IMPs, but every year there are 1 or 2 questions which will come out of IMPs, and no one can predict that. So, and PSM paper does not give you options in LAQ also. So, if an LAQ comes on a topic which you don't know at all, so it becomes a really panic situation. 8 marks LAQ and you don't know anything. So, at least try to go through everything once, and that is why coaching notes plays a very big role, because they cover at least most of the topics. So even if you cannot do, rather than doing a topic in much detail, first try to know something about everything, like maybe 2 or 3 headings or 4 headings about a topic, and then try to read in detail. So first give priority to the IMPs, obviously, whatever IMPs unique gives, last 10-year paper you can see. After you have done that, try to read 2 points for every topic. Jitna possibly do it, because any one, either 1 or 2 questions will come out of those IMPs. Okay, after theory paper, coming to Viva. So there are 2 Vivas which go in PSM. One is your case Viva and one is your theory Viva. So theory Viva, one thing very important, you have to do every definition thoroughly. There is a PDF which we'll share with you. It has given you around 30-35 definitions, and literally learn those definitions. Try to learn those definitions word by word, because the teachers who are there, they don't see whether you understand that topic or not. They just want to hear that definition word by word. And what happens is, if you blunder on a definition, or if you don't know a definition, your Viva won't go further on that topic. So it's like a direct zero for you, at least for that topic. So at least do that definition, and uske baad, no one in this world can predict कि क्या आने वाला है Viva में. Like you do from any topic, कुछ भी कर लो, you do Sushruत folder, you ask from a batchmate, seniors, कुछ भी, anything can be asked. First day I asked you 1 or 2 IMPs, but uske baad kuch bhi पूछते हैं. Like I myself was given something like, they handed me a water bottle in the exam and then said, describe this water. Like I don't know what stupid question was that, but यही पूछा था directly मुझे. तो कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं, but yes, do definitions at least, so that you pass easily. After that, for biostats, the journal which is there, you have to read that journal, and not much from that. Whatever Jadhav sir teaches you, that only, and previous year papers. So biostats का कैसा है, you get 5 questions to solve in 25 minutes, and all those 5 questions are from the previous 5 or 6 years paper only. It gets repeated every year. There is no question which comes apart from that. So around 6 years के paper है previous, so 5 questions in each paper. So around 30 questions है biostats के. So what you can do is write those question answer in a notebook or separate, and just keep it there. उसके अलावा कुछ भी नहीं आता है. And any year, any batch, all 6 batches of every year have those questions repeated from those papers only. So उसमें कोई issue नहीं है, आराम से full scoring 10 on 10 है. Only 30 questions to do, and बहुत छोटे-छोटे answers होते हैं, कुछ भी ज़्यादा नहीं है. Then coming to sports, so sports तो बहुत random होता है. So like they have got 9 or 10 practical topics, and they can choose any 5 topics to give you a sport. And like they can ask any sport. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि they don't have that sport. They can ask you any sport. हमारे time तो we had that on projected on a slide, so photos ही थे. So it was easy for us, but yes, identifying can be difficult, and means you have to attend your practical classes thoroughly if you want to actually identify the spots, because food के spots and ये सब labeled नहीं रहते हैं, वो समझते नहीं है spots exam में क्या है, तो you lose direct marks there. But yes, आने journal से ही हैं, तो at least try to finish your journals के spots, क्योंकि उसी में से आने, कोई अलग से spots नहीं आएगा. And if you can identify the spot, then second question of that spot is easy. So do it from journal. It's also high scoring, and try to be attentive whenever there is a practical schedule in your posting. And another Viva for your case. So for that proforma, you can see from the Sushruत folder. So they have variety of cases. Like they have case on maternal health. They can give you a case of anemia. They can give you a case of gestational diabetes, gestational hypertension. They can give you a case of alcoholism. They can give you a case of TB meningitis. So they have a variety of cases for every. I think there are total 6 or 7 proformas of cases. So a basic proforma remains the same in your medicine. You go about the general parameters, and then you go about the chief complaints, ODP, HOPI, negative history. After that, there are certain points related to PSM specific. So one is the Kupuswamy scale or rural classification, which is to be mentioned in detail in your cases. So you have to read that thoroughly because they do ask that in Viva also. Another is your diet. Diet is extremely important for your case. Every case, people are asked questions about diet, like what is the ideal diet for this patient, or like how do you divide this patient's diet into breakfast, lunch, dinner. Like they ask you practical questions on that. Like you don't get to say ki yes, 2000 calories and 50-gram proteins a day he'll take. You have to actually tell ki, okay, yes, breakfast mein he can go for 1 glass of milk with 2 eggs, then in lunch he can have 2 rotis, one bowl of chapati, and ऐसे. So give importance to diet, उस पे questions जाते हैं. And for so diet and this socioeconomic status are very important for PSM case. उसके अलावा ट्रीटमेंट कॉम्प्लिकेशंस वो सब मेडिसिन में यू रीड सो मच ना कि पीएसएम में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होता. यू आर इजीली एबल टू आंसर. लाइक टीबी यू हैव रेड सो मच टाइम, तो उसमें ज्यादा फंसता नहीं है वाइवा. वाइवा मेन फंसता है तुम्हारे सोशियो इकोनॉमिक और डाइट पे. तो डू दैट थॉरली. ऑल्सो यस, अगर मैटरनल है तो मैटरनल हिस्ट्री कैसे लेते हैं, ऑल दैट यू सी फ्रॉम द परफॉर्मा. एंड डू मतलब वो परफॉर्मा पूरा रट के जाना पड़ेगा. यू हैव टू कॉपी दैट परफॉर्मा लाइन बाय लाइन इन योर केस आंसर शीट. आफ्टर दैट वाइवा उसी से रिलेटेड रहता है. तो लाइक हैव सम बेसिक नॉलेज अबाउट वो 6-7 जो भी परफॉर्मर्स हैं. लाइक अगर जेस्टेशनल मदर पे आया तो यू नीड टू नो एंटीनेटल केयर, पोस्टनेटल केयर. हाँ, वाइवा विल बी रिलेटेड टू द पीएसएम एस्पेक्ट ऑफ इट. नाउ इफ यू गेट अ केस ऑफ जेस्टेशनल हाइपरटेंशन, तो देन दे डोंट गो इन ओबीजीवाई का वाइवा के हाइपरटेंशन के कट ऑफ्स क्या है, व्हाट टेस्ट डू यू डू, या व्हाट फार्माकोलॉजिकल ड्रग्स यू विल गिव. दे विल आस्क यू कि lady is diagnosed with hypertension, so what preventive measures you will take, what tests will you do from the what tests are available in PHC which are provided free to the patient. So उसके PSM aspect से ही वाइवा prepare करना है. You don't need to go in the medicine or that OBGY aspect. Okay, next slide. हाँ, so the main part, how to write answers in exam. So see, main is headings are very important. So as मैं told you कि अगर कोई clinical disease का क्वेश्चन आता है तो यू गो अबाउट राइटिंग इट्स रिस्क फैक्टर्स, क्लिनिकल फीचर्स, कॉम्प्लिकेशंस, ट्रीटमेंट, प्रिवेंशन, ये सब. पीएसएम के एस्पेक्ट से दो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें है. फर्स्ट, एपिडेमियोलॉजी एस्पेक्ट. यू हैव टू मेंशन इन एनी आंसर, कोई भी आंसर हो पीएसएम का, कोई भी उससे रिलेटेड, ट्राई टू मेंशन एपिडेमियोलॉजी, एजेंट, होस्ट, एनवायरनमेंट. यू रीड particularly. And अगर नहीं भी आ रहा है तो you can approximately guess and write. You don't need to be very specific about it. Headings are more important than writing specific things. Like अगर तुमको किसी का रिस्क फैक्टर्स नहीं पता है या फिर कोई एनवायरमेंट रिलेटेड एपिडेमियोलॉजी नहीं पता है, टेम्परेचर, ह्यूमिडिटी, तो यू कैन राइट मॉडरेट टू सनी, मतलब कूल टेम्परेचर, थोड़ा सा अप्रॉक्स करके रेनी. अगर लाइक मलेरिया डेंगू है तो यू कैन राइट रेनी सीजन, और ह्यूमिडिटी, इंक्रीज ह्यूमिडिटी. यू डोंट नीड टू मेंशन कि हाँ 60% ह्यूमिडिटी होना चाहिए मलेरिया, ये सब. तो बट do write those headings, those are extremely important. Then try to make flowcharts and diagrams, which is like very common for any answer which you write in PSM also. And yes, it will be good अगर कोई IMP you are studying and you see कि पार्क में उससे रिलेटेड कोई flowchart या डायग्राम है क्या. लाइक अगर रोड ट्रैफिक एक्सीडेंट पे क्वेश्चन है तो एक पार्क में एक टेबल दिया रोड ट्रैफिक एक्सीडेंट के रिस्क फैक्टर्स पे. तो इफ यू कैन ड्रॉ दैट टेबल देन इट्स द बेस्ट व्हाट यू कैन डू. तो what you can do is while preparing from Shetty, while you are reading your IMPs, just see पार्क में एक बार इससे रिलेटेड कुछ फ्लो चार्ट या डायग्राम है क्या. ओनली द फ्लो चार्ट या डायग्राम, उसका थ्योरी कुछ भी नहीं. तो अगर वो है तो जस्ट राइट इट समवेयर इन स्मॉल कि ये हमको देखना है उस आंसर के रिलेटेड. हाँ, उसके बाद ट्राई टू राइट लॉन्ग आंसर्स. सी पीएसएम वालों को लंबे आंसर्स बहुत पसंद है, तो डोंट ट्राई टू बी स्पेसिफिक एंड इतना आता है तो इतना ही लिखेंगे. ट्राई टू फिल इट विद कॉमन सेंस, बिकॉज पीएसएम में बहुत जनरल चीजें होती हैं. तो अगर नहीं भी आ रहा है, ट्राई टू फिल एनीथिंग. और लाइक अगर तुमको कोई अजीब सा क्वेश्चन आ गया, लाइक एक बार एक सीनियर्स को हमारे क्वेश्चन आया था मीट हाइजीन पे. लाइक नो वन न्यू अबाउट, वो आईएमपी भी नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, मीट हाइजीन, दिस राइट अ शॉर्ट नोट, मीट हाइजीन आया. सो डोंट पैनिक ऑन दैट. सो क्या करो, यू कैन स्टार्ट विद मीट हाइजीन है, डिस्क्राइब व्हाट इज हाइजीन, तुमको जो लगता है इन योर डेफिनेशन. देन यू कैन स्टार्ट विद कि व्हाट आर द वेज इन विच मीट इज हैंडल, या कहाँ पे यूज होता है, कहाँ पे जरूरत है इसकी मेनली. थोड़ा कॉमन सेंस लगा के, बिकॉज जहाँ नॉनवेज रेस्टोरेंट्स के बगल में जरूरत है, जहाँ वो मीन्स बीफ एंड वो सब होता है वहाँ जरूरत है. देन यू कैन राइट अबाउट प्रिवेंशन. अगेन यू नो प्राइमोरियल, प्राइमरी, सेकेंडरी प्रिवेंशन, तो उसके बेसिस पे कुछ लिख सकते हो. तो कभी डोंट पैनिक ऑन अननोन क्वेश्चंस, बिकॉज एक या दो अननोन क्वेश्चंस आएंगे और मे बी ऐसे क्वेश्चंस आए जिसको तुम ऑप्शंस में लीव ना कर सको. सो ट्राई टू राइट द कोर एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ पीएसएम, एपिडेमियोलॉजी, प्रिवेंशन, व्हाट उसके रिस्क फैक्टर्स, ये सब इंक्लूड करके हेडिंग्स लिख के आंसर लिख दो if you don't know anything specific about it. So don't panic, fill and try to fill pages, like write 2 to 3 pages, 4 pages for short note, 6 to 7 pages for long note. Then time is you get 3 hours in PSM. So you have like 7 SAQs, 3 SAQs of 3 marks and 3 SAQs of 4 marks, and you have 3 LAQs of 8 marks. So what you can do is MCQs you get half an hour for 30 MCQs. Now somewhere the Viva externals will give you the theory paper beforehand from MCQ. तो अगर उसमें 15-20 मिनट में MCQ solve हो गया तो you can get that extra 10 minutes. But supposedly you get that answer after 30 minutes only. So do MCQs as per the allotted time. SAQ try to give around 10 minutes for each SAQ. And what you can do is time your answer. So if you have like got 10 minutes, wherever you are at that point 10 minutes, leave after half page उसके बाद and write your next answer. ये मत करो कि एक आंसर अगर लिख रहा है कुछ छूट रहा है तो पहले लिख लेते लैग होता है एंड में LAQs छूटेंगे. तो अगर 10 मिनट या 12 मिनट असाइन किया है तो उतने पे होते ही जस्ट स्किप टू द नेक्स्ट आंसर. यू विल गेट एंड में टाइम. Similarly for LAQ, you get around 20 to 25 minutes per LAQ you can spend. So approx if you spend 10 minutes for SAQ, 70 minutes and 3 LAQ 25 minutes. So you still get around 10 to 12 minutes in the end, जिसमें तुम कंप्लीट कर सकते हो जो आंसर्स छूटे हैं. बट यस टाइम योर आंसर्स बिकॉज PSM में कई बार होता है SAQ लोग लिखते जाते हैं LAQ एंड में छूटता है. तो बस टाइम या और यू कैन स्टार्ट विद LAQ आल्सो व्हिचएवर सूट्स यू. ऐसा कुछ वो नहीं है. बट यस ऑलवेज टाइम योर आंसर्स. ओके नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. हाँ, सो दिस वाज मोर और लेस. तो चिल रहो इसके लिए. मोर परसिवरेंस ज्यादा जरूरी है PSM के लिए rather than एक दिन में बैठ के 15-15 घंटा पढ़ना. Try to read half hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, but try to read it daily. Try to get the core concept of that. And ज्यादा don't worry more about the subject. The torture इसका भी it will be over soon. So yes, that's all from my side. And if there are any questions, one more thing about your next preparation, you just need to go through your notes and nothing else is required. And as for the changing coaching institute is adapting to new ways and PSM की weightage facts वाली कम होने जाती है. So try to read it in an integrated approach only. Concepts ज़्यादा जरूरी है rather than facts. So prepare accordingly. Okay, that's all from my side. And if anyone has any queries regarding anything, you can ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Soumitra sir, for your much needed and honest review on PSM as a subject and PSM exams. Um, your advice on use of Parks, Shetty, Vivek Jain, and coaching notes was also very useful. Your tips regarding the biostat lectures and warning of not to mess with the department will be sincerely followed. Thank you, sir. Uh, Now we'll have a session by Srividya ma'am on posting, clinical posting.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, so I don't need to bore you guys about postings and I don't need to reiterate again and again कि postings जाना ज़रूरी है or something like that. Because I think second year में you feel कि postings का क्या फ़ायदा है, I don't understand anything because medicine नहीं हुआ है, surgery नहीं हुआ है. But when you come to third minor you realize कि अभी जाना start कर देना चाहिए because it helps you integrate जो भी तुमने theory में पढ़ा है. And when you go and see those cases actually it helps you remember things better. So that is why third minor में you should start going for postings and there is no doubt about that. There is no second thought कि जाना चाहिए या नहीं जाना चाहिए. But the question is कि how should you start going because people tell you कि postings जाओ case लो but then nobody is there to guide you as to how you can actually make your history taking better, how you can go and examine the patient and present cases. So I'll tell you a little bit about that, but mainly whatever you learn will happen when you actually go and do your clinical postings properly. Because it's a very long process. I know ki, you have to get out of your room, you have to get out of your house and actually go there to the ward, find a case, take the case, present it. It's a long process. But at the end of it, it's very fruitful. So there is no doubt कि तुमको करना ही चाहिए. So basically, I'll give you an example. So suppose you have, you've read, say, a case of pleural effusion. You've read some theory of pleural effusion. Now you know कि pleural effusion में क्या symptomatology होती है, what are the presenting symptoms, what kind of signs you might be seeing, या फिर what are the examination findings. Once you've read that, in order to help you remember whatever you've read, you should actually go to the medicine ward and see कि अच्छा pleural effusion का case है कि नहीं. Go there, take the case एंड इन दैट यू विल रियलाइज कि अच्छा ये जो मैंने सिम्टम्स पढ़े थे ये ऐसे ऐसे आते हैं. So the patient might complain to you of dyspnea, and he might complain to you of pleuritic chest pain initially, which later reduces, and then so on and so forth. But in order to understand कि इसके आगे क्या करना है, after you finish taking the chief complaints, उसके आगे how should you go about writing the history? That is the most important point, which most of us don't understand. Because we usually don't read the theory ना, you usually go to the ward, take the case, and then you miss out on the fact कि अच्छा negative history में क्या पूछना है, and negative history is the most important part. तो that you will learn with practice. जैसे कि प्लूरल इफ्यूजन में यू नो कि अच्छा ट्रांजिटेटिव कॉजेज होते हैं, एक्सुडेटिव कॉजेज होते हैं. तो ट्रांजिटेटिव कॉजेज में यू टू रूल आउट एनी हार्ट रिलेटेड और लिवर और रीनल कॉजेज. तो यू विल आस्क एसोसिएटेड सिम्टम्स कि देयर इज नो हिस्ट्री ऑफ सिंकपी, पैल्पिटेशंस, फटीग एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. Then in case of renal, you will say that there is no history of oliguria, frothing of urine. Then in case of hepatic, you will say कि ठीक है, there is no history of icterus or something like that. तो वैसे you will rule out all the possible DDs in transudative. Then you will come to exudative, and then you will see अच्छा exudative में क्या causes होते हैं. There is infection, there is inflammation, there is autoimmune causes. तो accordingly उसमें भी you will have to ask your negative history. जैसे autoimmune के लिए 1 line में you will say कि there is no history of any joint pain, myalgia, rashes. If it's a case of if you're suspecting TB, so you will say there is no history of COX or COX contact. So ये जो negative history वाला part है, that is the trickiest part, and that is something most of us don't understand कि क्या लिखना है. Can you change the slide? Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So I'll speak about that more in the next coming slides. But as far as relevance is concerned, for MUHS of course it's very important, because फाइनल ईयर में तुमको जो भी है, मेडिसिन हो, सर्जरी हो, ऑब्सकाइनी हो, देयर आर फिक्स्ड केसेस जो तुमको जाके लेने हैं और प्रेजेंट करना है, एंड द मोर यू प्रेजेंट द बेटर यू विल रिमेंबर इट. तो ऐसा नहीं कि तुमने जाके प्लूरल इफ्यूजन का एक केस ले लिया या फिर तुमने जाके ट्विंस का केस ले लिया एक बार, सो दैट्स इट. You have to go and take it 2-3 times sometimes to actually understand कि finally okay, this is the refined case presentation, this is the way that I have to take the case, this is the way that I have to present. So in order to do that, you have to take cases more and more. So take your convince your batchmates also to accompany you and go and actually take the cases, because otherwise a lot of times you end up going and then there are no people along with you, and then presentation के भी time पे it's important to have your batchmates so that you can discuss amongst each other कि अच्छा ये पूछ सकते हैं, ये पूछ नहीं सकते. So that's how you'll refine your case clinical skills. तो एग्जाम्स के लिए तो they'll ask you, मतलब when you present to different professors, they will tell you कि अच्छा ये negative history में नहीं पूछना चाहिए, या फिर ये point क्यों लिखा है, cut this out. I can guarantee you will refer to 3-4 books, but at the end of the day some professor will come and tell you कि ये point मत पूछो. So this is how you'll understand that in your exam how you can present a refined case. So MUHS के लिए it's very important. But as far as next is concerned, you will, if you have phase 1 and phase 2, in phase 2 they're going to ask you about your they're going to check your clinical skills. So उसके लिए तो obviously it's important that you focus on how you carry out examination. तो एग्जामिनेशन के लिए भी you have to try it out yourself first. ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई आके तुमको सिखाएगा. पोस्टिंग में यही होता है कि यू गो देयर एंड यू एक्सपेक्ट पीपल टू टीच यू, बट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि वो भी रेसिडेंट्स है, उनका अपना काम है. तो दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू कम एंड ऑफर कि हम सिखाते हैं आके. यू हैव टू टेक द केस एंड देन यू हैव टू गो एंड प्रेजेंट एंड से कि मैम ये समझ में नहीं आया, प्लीज़ शो मी दिस सो एंड सो सिस्टम का एग्जामिनेशन. सो दे विल टीच यू कि अच्छा ठीक है, व्हाट डाउट्स यू हैव. देयर बी सम इंटरेस्टेड रेसिडेंट्स. आई अग्री कि ऐसे बहुत लोग होते हैं who shun you away, who say कि अभी टाइम नहीं है, and there will be people who are cooperative as well. So your main aim has to be to find those people who can actually teach you, whom you can approach and take their contact numbers also. It's absolutely fine, you can take their contacts, you can tell them कि sir, whenever you're free, whether be it morning, afternoon, evening, whatever the time is, we are ready to come and present the case. तो दे विल ऑफर कि ठीक है, whenever I'm free I'll call you and then you come and present the case, and वैसे you can actually even save your time कि ठीक है सुबह को नहीं हुआ, you can go and study during that time and then in the evening you can go and present the case. तो वो sort out हो जाएगा. But apart from that, in next phase 1, if they ask you case related questions, they are going to put it in wordings of the patients, And therefore it's important that when you go to the wards and actually listen to what the patient says, you know okay, this chief complaint is going to come to me like this. For example, if you go and take a case of ascites, a lot of times you might end up saying the patient gives a history of swelling in the abdomen. A lot of people make this mistake, and the thing is, swelling slash lump in the abdomen is a surgery case. What you actually should write is abdominal distension. So there'll be many such wordings which the patient says, and you have to accordingly write it in a way which is ask the patient, come to know कि ठीक है obstructive jaundice के case में the patient comes to you with pruritus, or it's a very classical presentation, because I myself, like I'm telling you, when I was in second year, I took a case of obstructive jaundice of around 70-year-old man with periampullary CA, and the presentation was pruritus, icterus, and weight loss, cachexia, everything. Then again in third minor, when I went and took a case of obstructive jaundice, it turned out to be again periampullary CA, same presentation. It's just that the patient was different, but the presentation was exactly the same. Again now in my recent clinical posting, when I took a case of OJ, the same presentation, periampullary CA, pruritus, cachexia, weight loss. And therefore I realized that periampullary CA is not that uncommon. मतलब you might think कि अरे ये तो रेयर होता होगा, ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिव जॉन्डिस में तो गॉलस्टोन्स ही आते, कोलेडोकोलिथियासिस आता होगा, but that's not the case. You might get periampullary CA cases also. So that's why it's important that you go and understand कि what are the common cases that come to KEM, and what is the common symptomatology that is complained of in every kind of case. So your next में phase 1 में when they're going to give you clinical cases, it will be easier for you to understand कि अच्छा ये symptoms है, ठक से diagnosis दिमाग में आ जाएगा. नहीं तो फिर you'll sit and think कि अच्छा मैंने ये system theory में यहाँ पढ़ा था, and it will be difficult to correlate. And then in the phase 2, when you are actually asked to demonstrate, you will be confident कि तुमने third year से start किया है examination and everything, so you'll be better off than the others. And of course basic clinical skills, because we are here to be doctors, so फिर it's obvious that for to be an MBBS doctor you need to know certain things. That's why posting तो जाना है, and I don't think इससे ज़्यादा I can convince you. Next slide. Krishnai, can you go to so I'll just give you a few tips that how you can improve your history taking. Because a lot of times, and this has happened to us, and therefore I'm telling you, we go to the ward and then we start taking history, name, age, sex, address, वो सब हो गया. And then after chief complaints, we start wondering कि इसके आगे क्या क्या पूछना है, because if you've not read the theoretical aspect, then you will be confused कि अच्छा इसमें मैं क्या differential सोचूं, मैं कैसे rule out करूं. So you have to keep presenting, of course, to know your mistakes, but there are certain basic rules of negative history that you have to keep in mind. Once you finish your chief complaints and HOPI, and you focus on all your positive findings, then in your negative history, the first thing that you have to rule out is negative history of associated symptoms. जैसे कि I'll give you an example of CA breast, ठीक है. So most commonly the female will come to you with a history of lump in abdomen of so and so size, which increased over say 3 months to say from 2 into 2 centimeter to 3 into 5 centimeter, whatever be the case. And many a time she won't have any other complaint. She won't have pain, she won't have any discharge, nipple discharge, she won't have any overlying skin changes. But that is your job to rule out all of that in the negative history. So you will say no history of any nipple discharge, no history of any overlying skin changes, etc., etc. Then the next thing that comes after negative history of associated symptoms is negative history of etiology. So you don't know that this is a case of CA breast, right? When the patient comes to you, you have to come to the conclusion that it's CA breast. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to rule out other causes of lumps, for example fibroadenoma or cyclical mastalgia, where you have multiple lumps in the breast. So you will say no history of lumps anywhere else in the breast, or previous history of lumps, or etc., etc. So negative history of etiology, then negative history of associated symptoms, etiology, and then you come to negative history of complications. And that is where you rule out whatever complications of breast CA that you know of. Like say you want to rule out METs, so you will say that there is no history of back pain to rule out METs to the vertebra. Or you want to rule out METs to the liver, so you will say no history of icterus, or any history of lump in the abdomen. So that is how you rule out every other differential to come to your final diagnosis. Okay, so that is important. And the order, when I say the order is not always important in history taking, what I mean to say is it's not necessary that your family history or your treatment history has to come later. If you know she has had an FNAC, you have to put it above. If she has a significant family history or positive family history, you have to put it above. So whatever is significant to your case, to your diagnosis, will come above, and whatever is negative or less significant, put it later on. There need not be a certain order that you follow when you write a case, and you will understand that as you take more and more cases. Then when the reason I've put this point is what does state your positive findings means is because there are many cases where, I mean, there are a few of my friends who told me this, that when they were asked state your positive findings, for example, in the ENT exam, instead of actually stating positive findings, they started saying, okay, on examination, the patient was conscious, cooperative, well-oriented to time, place, person, all of that. Positive finding is whatever is significant in your history or in your examination that is contributory to your diagnosis. So if they say state your positive findings in examination, whatever tests that you did or whatever something like say in a DNS, you found out कि अच्छा the cold spatula test में एक side में the fogging is less, so you will write that कि अच्छा this was a positive finding. So the most important thing is that you star mark and keep when you write your history and examination कि these are the points which are which I will be saying if they ask me what are your positive findings. In a case of pseudophakia, if they ask you what is your positive finding, you should mention the shining light reflex. Or if it's aphakia, you should mention that it's a jet black pupil. So all of these findings are important because they contribute to your diagnosis. And obviously keep it short and simple. It's a myth that your history or your examination should be long. As far as possible, keep it crisp, keep it short, and only put the relevant points. Because when you examine, you will when you present, as you present more, you will realize that examiners don't like you to go writing stories about whatever is the case. They want what is relevant to that case, whatever is positive, and especially in surgery, they want your examination to be detailed rather than the history. Next slide. Okay, so I'll try to focus less on Ophthal, ENT, PSM because already Manav, Samitra and Matre have in depth told you about that. But in Ophthal, I would like to say apart from cataract, apart from the theory of cataract, if you can't attend a cataract surgery, then try to watch the videos on YouTube. There are excellent videos. And when you are taught instruments, I mean, this is what happened with our batch, that ma'am helped, like she showed us the instrument, and while doing that we also saw the video of the cataract surgery. So we know that this instrument is used during this step of cataract surgery, and therefore it becomes easier for you to understand even when you write any cataract surgery or you talk about any cataract surgery in your viva, because if they ask you which step is this instrument used in, you shouldn't go about thinking ki kya tha wo step kya tha, because you've seen it, it becomes easier. That's it. Then of course there are various things, when you go to the Ophthal OPD and then you go inside, you'll see that there's perimetry, there are darkroom procedures, you can do visual acuity testing, there's perimetry, you can try out power correction. So there are so many things to do that you can easily maybe over 2-3 days, if you don't want to spend say all 30 days of your posting going to Ophthal, in 2 to 3 days you can actually finish all of this, just seeing or trying out IDO or DDO and all of those procedures. And slit lamp is something which is very interesting, and you should try it out, because Ashiana ma'am, who is there on Ophthal, if she is there, she'll allow you to actually do the slit lamp examination and show you how do you adjust the height, and she'll show you the parts of slit lamp. So it's a very nice, it's a very interesting it's subject posting wise if you are interested in Ophthal, and if you're not, I would recommend you to go for Ophthal postings, because I myself was not that interested in Ophthal, the theoretical part, but once I attended my postings, I actually started taking more interest because you get to see everything. Then in ENT, of course, try to attend the OPD and see what are the common procedures which are done. How do you hold a Thadicum nasal speculum? That is a very commonly asked question. How do you carry out IDL, ear irrigation, all of that? Because this is asked even in your short note. They ask you to draw a diagram of not a diagram, but they ask you to write a procedure of ear irrigation in your short note, or they could ask you that draw a diagram of what you would see if you do an ideal, which is given in Dhingra. So do refer to that diagram, it's very important. And instruments and X-rays are again from exam point of view very very important. So make sure that when you are attending your postings, you tell the teachers to teach you X-rays, instruments and audiogram. Okay. Next slide. Okay, in medicine, my favorite part personally is the ward rounds, because in the ward rounds you get to see so many cases together. Like one case of hemiparesis, the very next case of pleural effusion, the very next case of a valvular heart disease. It is very interesting, and also because it's kind of spoon fed, because the teachers will discuss कि अच्छा इसका management क्या करना है, what are the complications that you're seeing, and you get to learn much more in your ward rounds, I would say. So definitely try to attend that, and of course take as many cases as possible. In our case for final year we refer to Kundu, but in my second year as well as in my third year we had very good teachers to teach us. So try to catch hold of people who can teach you, even if you don't refer to very big standard books. You can actually open up PJ Mehta and just see what is the basic symptomatology, and read up a little bit of theory to correlate with your practical. Then in surgery, surgery is something which always remains a question mark with most of the people, because you are usually not taught how you are supposed to take a case in surgery, and that is the reason why in surgery you have to read up a little bit of the theoretical aspect and a little bit from any practical book that you wish to follow. Personally, I feel in third minor you should read S. Das say swelling. You should read the important cases like hernia, or say thyroid, PVD, whatever cases that you can read. So you should read S. Das, or if not that Pratik Patil, or if not that SAMD is another book which is being used by a lot of my batchmates. So you can read that part, you can read a little bit of theory and then go and take a case, because then you know what you're supposed to ask in negative history, and then even the examination part becomes easier. So take your batchmates and do the examination together, so it becomes more interesting. As far as that's case, like that's history and examination. Examination is way more important than history, so focus more on that. And instruments, when you actually attend OT, there are certain surgeries that you should attend, like hernia or open lap chole, resection anastomosis, appendicitis, yeah, amputation. Appendicitis mostly emerge mein you will be able to attend, even amputation. In minor OT you will be able to attend, you might be able to see lipoma or a sebaceous cyst excision. So there are certain procedures which you should try and see. Once you go to the OT, you actually see the instruments and how they're being used. So then it becomes very easy. You don't actually have to sit and learn the instruments. You see कि अच्छा ये artery forceps है, this is Babcock's, this is the sponge holding forceps. You actually see them being used, so then it becomes easy. And if it's a laparoscopic procedure, then you get to see the lap surgical instruments also. Next slide. Okay, so pediatrics is one place where you have many people to come and teach you. So there you don't have to worry about posting जाना है नहीं जाना है आज कोई सिखाने वाला है या नहीं, because there are many people there to teach you. So in pediatrics, just go take the case and just ask any resident to teach you. They are more than willing to teach you, and refer to CHEDA for most of your case. Like writing the history as well as the examination. Just open up CHEDA and refer to the same pro forma. You don't actually have to refer to any other PDFs actually. So write the case according to that pro forma. Pediatrics has a lot of extra stuff. So a lot of people say pediatrics is equal to medicine, but that's not at all true, because there are extra points in pediatrics which you have to include in your history. So there is birth history, there's immunization, there's diet, there's socio-economic history, even you have to draw the pedigree chart and all of that. So it's important that you practice that also, because otherwise you end up in a loophole thinking this is equal to medicine, and then at the end of the day when you go and present you realize that there are a lot of points which are different in pediatrics. Another point that I'll like to specify here is in peds as well as in surgery, things like pulse, which come in general examination, or pickle and all of that. Pickle is important, but pulse as such, you don't have to describe it as much as in detail as you do it in medicine. It's the flow, the volume, the tension, all of that which you describe in medicine, that is not required in surgery, because they're not interested, and if you start describing that, that's where your viva goes, and then they catch you on that, and then you get stuck in pulse. Similarly, in ENT Ophthal, also try to limit your general examination findings and stuff, and try to go directly to the local examination, because the examiners will start asking you questions like, why is it that you've written pulse and all of this in detail, and it's not required for Ophthal ENT, so why have you done that? And then your viva will get stuck there, and then whatever that you've learned or studied will all go waste, because there's a limited amount of time that you have to present what you know. So be smart when you're presenting your case. Don't try and meander into things which are not important. Then in obs gynae, of course, I'm myself having my third rotation right now, and I'm not the best person to tell you about obs gynae. But I can definitely tell you this, that definitely go and see normal vaginal delivery, go and see C-section, go and see certain important surgeries like hysterectomy. As far as the case is concerned, it's pretty straightforward. There are a few points here and there. It's not as much as in detail in pediatrics. Just a little bit about, say, what kind of contraception is used, and what the menstrual history and all of that. That is where those are the additional points. Otherwise, it's not very difficult, but the theory part is very important, because there's a lot of theory and practical overlap in obs gynae. So you have to, even if you don't really refer to a practical book in obs gynae, read up the theoretical part, take the case and present it, and while you present it, the professor or the resident will tell you, okay, achha, these are the points that you should add in negative history, or these are the points that you should ask the lady in order to make your history better, and that is more than enough. You don't really have to sit and read a practical book as such. But there is one called Virkud, which you could refer to later on, and otherwise the viva directly goes into theory. So I would definitely recommend all of you all to start medicine, surgery, obs gynae thoda sa from now itself. I think a lot of you all must have already finished halfway through, or maybe completed also. But if you've not, then start right now, so that it aids you in your clinical postings. And as far as ortho is concerned, the case, it usually comes with surgery. So surgery and ortho ka viva saath mein hota hai. So ortho mein your history has to be very crisp and short, and when you have your ortho postings, go and try and take cases of, there's a list of cases that you'll get from your seniors that we'll give you. So those cases, just go and take those cases, try to go and attend the OPDs, because that is where they carry out a lot of examination, and simultaneously you will learn the examination over there. So hip examination, shoulder examination, spine examination, these are the important things that you should know. So go and attend OPDs also, they are very helpful. Apart from that, there's nothing, there are PDFs also which are available in ortho, so you can take it from us. Next slide. Okay, these are just a few extra points that you can make your postings a little more fruitful, because I know that a lot of times you just end up going and you feel 3 hours got wasted, and then you come back. So when you go, in the beginning itself, try and look for residents who are ready to teach you. And once you find such residents, hold on to them till the end, take their contacts as I already said, and coordinate. 1 or 2 people will always have to coordinate, but try to do it with some amount of diligence. Don't think of it as a responsibility, but do it with fun, because it's fun. Once you start understanding what you're doing, it's really fun. Don't take clinical postings as some extra thing that you have to do. It's actually one of the main things that you've come to do, right? Because the fact that you've entered MBBS, you have to do that in the future. So take it more in the sense of something that you enjoy doing, rather than something that you have to do. And when I say observation also aids learning, what I mean to say is, you can in third minor attend OPDs, because in third major you might not have the time to really go and stand there for 2 to 3 hours. So in third minor, try to attend OPDs and OTs, and increase your observation skills, so that you see more and then you learn more, because you see that procedure, say how do you carry out a surgery in appendicitis, and that is actually asked in your viva. So once you see it, you won't have to read it and memorize it. You've already seen it, right? And you can attend clinics with other people who suppose you finished obs gynae and you couldn't attend obs gynae because of COVID or because of your exams. So attend those clinics with other batchmates, so that you don't miss out on the cases that are going to come in the exams especially. So make a list of the cases which are important for exams, and again repeating exams, because it's I can't reiterate this more. Exam point of view, say if you study, at least you will do those basic 4, 5 or 10, 15 cases. Otherwise you will end up just taking 1 or 2 cases and finish off your postings and think कि हाँ postings अच्छे से हो गया. But there are a list of cases that you should take before your postings end. Next slide. This is just a list of books, and I've already mentioned it. Ophthalmology ND, as Manav said, you don't have to refer to a separate book as such. You can just take the PDFs from us. Medicine में read Kundu in final year. बाकी third minor में you can refer to other books like PJ Mehta. Personally, we had residents who used to teach us, so we didn't actually have to refer to a lot of books. But as I said, read the theoretical part, and read the case pro forma जो होता है. There are PDFs for that also. Refer to the case pro forma and just start presenting as soon as possible. Surgery में S Das है, Sam D है, PP is also Pratik Patil is also a very good book because it has everything in the most concise manner possible. Obs Gynae, there's Vircode which is there. And pediatrics may refer to CHEDA, and do make notes during pediatrics postings because they teach very well. So those postings will also aid you to add on points to whatever is there in CHEDA. Next slide. If not, then one thing which I forgot to mention is that in surgery there are certain cases like PVD, thyroid, breast cancer, which you should go and examine. Like there is no doubt about that कि उसका examination तो तुमको करना ही पड़ेगा. So please go and examine those cases. And yeah, I mean that's.
Thank you, Srividya ma'am. Your advice was certainly very useful. The importance, there is certainly a greater importance for postings for the batches who will be giving next. Your posting experience was really helpful for us. Following your advice, and the posting will be taken a bit more, if at least not a lot, sincerely. Your department-wide analysis and strategy for attending posting was also very nice. So thank you, Shraddha ma'am. To conclude, today,
If you have, wait a minute, Chinmay. If you have any more questions, please do ask. I guess Shriya had one question in the chat. Shriya, are you there?
I just wanted to ask that whether reading Parsons is okay for MEHS or should we just go with Khurana?
Amay is there or what, or I'll answer otherwise.
You answer.
See,
Amay, Manav, and Shrividya has
Parson
left.
is like, समझ लो Parson is, if I have to make a comparison, is Robbins and Khurana is तुम्हारे हर्ष मोहन. So अगर तुमको एग्जाम पर्पस के लिए है तो कोई नीड नहीं है पार्सन की. खुराना इज मच मोर देन इनफ. वो ऑलरेडी बहुत मुश्किल है उसमें आंसर लिखना, तो पार्सन तो कहीं से नहीं. हाँ, इफ यू आर जेन्युइनली इंटरेस्टेड इन ऑफ्थेल्मोलॉजी, वांट टू डू पीजी इन ऑफ्थेल्मोलॉजी, या तुमको जेन्युइन इंटरेस्ट है सब्जेक्ट में, तो पार्सन पढ़ो. अदरवाइज पार्सन की कोई भी नीड नहीं है पूरे यूजी में.
नहीं मतलब instead of reading Khurana, just keeping Parsons as your book
See,
for
हाँ,
ophthalm.
you can keep the book. Obviously, it's any day better. But the thing is, answers लिखना उससे difficult है. Like imagine writing answers from Robbins or rather than Harsh Mohan. तो वही दिक्कत आएगी पार्सन एंड खुराना में. If you can do that, if you like पार्सन पढ़ने में 2 times ज़्यादा टाइम लगेगा as compared to खुराना. But yes, concepts better बनेंगे. तो अगर तुम उतना टाइम दे सकते हो, तुम्हें मन है, तो जरूर पढ़ो, नो डाउट. बट अगर नहीं है, तुमको सिर्फ एग्जाम्स के निकालने हैं और ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट नहीं है ऑफ्थल में, तो खुराना ही करो.
Okay.
Then we have some questions in the Google Forms we circulated. How to study and balance the final year subjects, time allotments, and targets. Soumitra or Srividya, any one of you can answer.
Vidya, you want to answer or I'll answer?
See, like you have to understand कि अभी your third minor के जो subjects है ophthalmology, is not that time consuming. ठीक है, PSM is one large subject that you have to handle. उसके साथ साथ you can definitely do a little bit of final year. I mean that my strategy was that I used to do a little bit of final year every single day. It can be any subject. You can start with medicine or obs gynae or surgery, but obviously I feel कि medicine से start करो because that is one subject that covers up a lot of things. उससे काफ़ी चीज़ों की understanding better हो जाती है. तो you can start with medicine and थोड़ा surgery भी side by side कर ही सकते हो. And obviously watch your videos first. If you want to read any standard textbooks, you can read that too side by side. जैसे अगर तुमको medicine में Harrison's पढ़ना है, you can read a little bit of the, you know, whatever is the most important topic. जैसे अभी CNS is given very well in Harrison, so you can read that a little bit every day. Surgery के केस में Bailey is, I mean, it's not कि सब लोग पढ़ते हैं, but you can try to read little bit of Bailey side by side. So time management wise, apart from your postings, I don't think you have a lot of lectures, and if you do, वो mostly online होते हैं. So you can very well sit through it if your lectures are important or if you think that it's useful. Otherwise, just attendance के लिए attend those lectures and then side by side try to do your तुम्हारा जो तुमने टाइम टेबल बनाया है. Do a little bit of final year maybe every day or fix few days for that, and पार्क या if not पार्क whatever विवेक जैन या सोच या जो भी थर्ड माइनर के सब्जेक्ट्स हैं उसको भी पढ़ते रहो. There's another approach which some people do कि पहले थोड़ा final year अच्छे से कर लिया and then last 3-4 months you do third minor. So it's your wish. Soumitra, if you want to add something, you can add.
हाँ मतलब मोस्टली यू कवर्ड एवरीथिंग. व्हाट आई डिड एंड मेरे ख्याल से जो मुझे बेनिफिट हुआ कि जो पोस्टिंग चल रही है ना, अगर उस टाइम पे वो सब्जेक्ट कर लो ना थोड़ा ज़्यादा टाइम देके, तो इट हेल्प्स अ लॉट. यू गेट टू हैव अ होलिस्टिक टीचिंग. तुम पोस्टिंग में भी वही पढ़ रहे हो, नोट्स में भी वही पढ़ रहे हो, बुक्स से भी वही पढ़ रहे हो, तो हर जगह पढ़ते हो तो यू गेट दैट टॉपिक अ लॉट. तो अगर तुम्हारी मेडिसिन पोस्टिंग जब लगी है तो नॉट ऑब्वियसली तुम पूरा मेडिसिन तो नहीं कर सकते, बट लाइक अगर वन मंथ की लगी है तो यू कैन टारगेट इज लाइक 2 सिस्टम या मे बी 3 सिस्टम टारगेट कर लो, से CVS, RS और GIT. तो ट्राई टू फिनिश दोज 3 सिस्टम्स. तो उसके बाद यू कैन, हाँ वैसे सिम सर्जरी लगाए तो लाइक 7 लॉन्ग केसेस होते हैं एंड 8-9 शॉर्ट केसेस. तो टेक में भी 2 या 3 लॉन्ग केस है, 2-3 शॉर्ट केस, एंड उसको कंप्लीटली अच्छे से कर लो. मतलब बुक से पढ़ लो, उसी टाइम नोट से पढ़ लो, पोस्टिंग में पढ़ लो, केस ले लो. तो जो पोस्टिंग लगी उसके अकॉर्डिंग करोगे तो तुम्हें टारगेट्स का ज़्यादा इशू नहीं आने वाला है. उसके अलावा ट्राई, अगर थर्ड ईयर के एंड आते आते, लाइक हमारा तो कोविड था तो हम तो घर पे ही थे तो हमने तो कर लिए, बट ट्राई टू फिनिश ऑल योर 19 सब्जेक्ट्स के नोट्स. बिकॉज तुम लोग का एक तो नेक्स्ट आने वाला है, तो तुम लोग को फाइनल ईयर के एंड में अपना एंट्रेंस देना है. तो यू नीड एटलीस्ट 1 year टू गिव TND एंड रिवाइज एवरीथिंग. तो थर्ड ईयर के एंड आते आते ट्राई टू फिनिश डैम्स किया या मैरो किया, जो भी पर्सनल नोट्स जो बनाते हो, पूरे 19 सब्जेक्ट से नोट्स खत्म कर लो. भले ही वो नोट्स तुम पढ़ ना पाओ बुक से, बट एक बार खत्म कर लो तो दैट विल बी सेटिस्फाइंग. उसके अलावा फर्स्ट सेकेंड ईयर के मे बी बीच में टाइम निकाल के, से हर महीने मान लो एक महीने में 4 या 5 दिन या 3-4 दिन निकाल के एक सब्जेक्ट का रिवाइज करके TND दे दिया, तो TND भी साइड बाय साइड खत्म होते चलेगा. एंड थर्ड ईयर प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो तो थर्ड ईयर जब भी सब्जेक्ट्स पूरा प्रिपेयर हो जाए उसका TND तो दे ही दो, जो भी कोचिंग का है, तो वो थर्ड ईयर के सब्जेक्ट्स हो जाएंगे. सिमिलरली हर 15 डेज या हर 20 डेज पे 2 या 1 या 2 दिन निकाल के शॉर्ट सब्जेक्ट्स भी पढ़ना शुरू कर दो. बिकॉज नेक्स्ट आने वाला है तो यू नीड टू फिनिश ऑल 19 सब्जेक्ट्स बाय, मतलब अगर नेक्स्ट तुम लोग को 23 में देना रहेगा तो बाय 22 का मई जून तक तुम्हें खत्म करने अपने 19 सब्जेक्ट्स हर हालत में, ताकि एटलीस्ट 8-9 मंथ्स तो मिले तुम्हें रिवाइज और TND देने के लिए प्रॉपर फुल सब्जेक्ट 19 सब्जेक्ट्स. यस बस इतना ही मेरे. हाँ आई थिंक दैट विल बी ऑल.
Thank you so much, Soumitra. Actually, the next question was about managing NEET PG or next prep along with MBBS portion that you have covered very well, according to me. Thank you so much. Any more questions do we have, or I think we can conclude the meeting. Chinmay, you can proceed.
Actually, I wanted to elaborate on my previous question कि अगर मतलब थ्योरी एग्जाम्स देने में इतना इंटरेस्ट नहीं है तो फिर खुराना पढ़ने की जरूरत है क्या?
सी अगर एग्जाम तुमको मतलब फिर आंसर्स लिखोगे कहाँ से? आई मीन
मतलब जितना मतलब पासिंग के लिए मतलब जितना नोट्स से हो रहा है या
थिंग इज, अगर
ये
सब्जेक्ट में
मतलब
इंटरेस्ट नहीं है ना, मैं तो जेन्युइन बोलूंगा इवन फॉर पोस्टिंग एस्पेक्ट, अगर ऑफ्थेल में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है,
नहीं नहीं
तुम्हें पता है तुम PG ऑफ्थेल में नहीं करने
इंटरेस्ट है
वाले हो
बट
तो
थ्योरी एग्जाम देने में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है
हाँ,
वैसा.
तो अगर तुम्हें एग्जाम में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, मार्क्स नहीं है, तो जस्ट डू व्हाट ना, IMPs पढ़ो, खत्म करो. खुराना से IMPs के नोट्स बना लो या तो, why do you need to read पूरा
या
पूरा
तो
फिर
फिर
छोड़
यू
दो कोई
रीड
रीड नहीं करना
पार्सन्स इफ यू वांट टू रीड इट, मतलब अगर देखो
हाँ
इतना इंटरेस्ट है तो पढ़ ले, जो भी टॉपिक्स इंपॉर्टेंट एटलीस्ट वो देख ले, एंड देन यू सी कि
बिकॉज नहीं, वो पुराना बहुत ही ओवरवेलमिंग है, वो एक तो इतना सारा इंफॉर्मेशन दिया है उसमें, सो
हाँ, तो इसीलिए डोंट स्टार्ट विथ खुराना। स्टार्टिंग में खुराना करोगे तो सब ओवरवेलमिंग ही लगता है, इट्स टू मच इन्फॉर्मेशन। तो यू स्टार्ट विथ वही नोट्स पढ़ो, सोच से पढ़ लो थोड़ा, एंड फिर उसके बाद खुराना में जाओ। और खुराना इज़ वेरी एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, तो उसमें बहुत एक्सेसिव इन्फॉर्मेशन है, तो यू विल हैव टू गो थ्रू इट एंड थोड़ा छानना पड़ेगा कि ठीक है ये मैं एग्जाम में लिखूंगी वैसे। बट इफ़ यू रेड थ्रू योर नोट्स ना, तो फिर ईजियर हो जाता है। तो डोंट डायरेक्टली स्टार्ट विथ खुराना।
या ओके।
Okay, then Chinmay, you can proceed.
So, thank you, Manav sir, Amya sir, Soumitra sir, and Shividya ma'am. Your guidance was really very helpful, especially for the our seniors, that is the 2018 batch. I'm pretty sure that after this session, there will be new motivation and to study the subjects and, of course, prepare for the upcoming exams and the competitive exams. Thank you. I also want to thank all the attendees who had been sincere throughout the session. Um, I thank the academic department for creating this opportunity, for giving this opportunity, uh, for creating an interaction between seniors and juniors. Thank you, everyone.
We have one more question. Uh, Please ask.
Um, Actually, I wanted to ask if you all can share a link. Like, is there any link which has PDFs of all the books which we need for postings? Because उसका hard copy तो हम लोग नहीं देंगे ना, मतलब it will be.
सी वाइट आर्मी करके एक वो है ना, आई मीन वाइट आर्मी चैनल है, यू नो अबाउट वाइट आर्मी। सो उनके केसेस होते हैं यूट्यूब पे, लाइक दे हैव गिवन, दे डिस्कस सारे केसेस जो हम प्रेजेंट करते हैं अपने यूजी लाइफ में, दे हैव 200 एंड 300 ऑफ केसेस। तो वो देख सकते हो, एंड उनका एक फोल्डर है पूरा, आई विल शेयर दैट। उस फोल्डर में दे हैव एवरी रिसोर्स पॉसिबल, सारी थ्योरी बुक, सारी पोस्टिंग बुक, सारी सब कुछ ऑनलाइन। आई विल शेयर दैट एंड उससे तुम डाउनलोड कर सकते हो।
Okay, thank you.
Uh, I also want to add that I myself, being a second year MBBS student, along with Krishna and Rohit and Paurus, we are fortunate to have advice from our super seniors at this stage. Thank you. Thank you, Soumitra. Thank you, Amay, Shividya ma'am, and
थैंक यू फॉर दिस सेशन।
Manav sir.